Welcome back to the podcast. It's your host, Lindsay Williams. So I might sound a little hoarse today. I've had a little bit of a bad chest this week. I'm not sure what happened. I've got a little bit of a chest infection. And obviously, I've got my asthma, so I'm a little bit hoarse. I don't mind being a little bit hoarse, but I'm here. I'm here for it. And yesterday, we had an amazing mastermind. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was the day before. We had the amazing mastermind. Me and Lisa Williams, my little business bestie, we collab together because we're both podcasters and I do teach people how to launch podcasts, but we wanted to do something as a collective and get women to come into the mastermind. And what we wanted to do behind it is to support other busy women, entrepreneurs, busy mums to create a new business, a new form of income stream, and to raise their voices, because so many women are scared to raise their voices. They've been silent for so long. So we want to instill confidence and, just something that we are doing ourselves. If we're doing it, it's, that it's nothing better than somebody teaching you something that you are already, the proof is in the pudding. That's my motto. And if somebody's teaching you and they've done it themselves, they're a prime example. You can juggle things, you can create a new business, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, setting up a new business. And it's never too late to start something new. And already we've got a couple of ladies that have actually set up the whole podcast and front covers, and they're ready for recording, they're ready to go. And I'm actually being interviewed by one of them, the lovely Cheryl that was on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, she's ready for doing a solo thing on her own. And it's amazing to see all these women, that busy mums that have, are wanting to do something different. And it's not saying that you have to give up your other business, because I find this is like a business and a hobby. Like, I wanted to do this for me because I was working in personal training. I was working on the shop floor, one-to-one, and it's tiring training that time all the time when you've got children. So I wanted to bring all my knowledge and experience, as I spoke about in the past on the podcast, to a podcast and help busy mums. And that's my niche. A lot of busy mums that I genuinely work with, because that's what you kind of like. It's like when you're hanging around with people, you tend to hang around with the people with the same interests. And that's what happens in business. You're always going to gravitate to somebody that's in your boat. You're not going to just go for someone if you're picking somebody for something. You like to, stalk them out a bit, see what they're about, what their work ethic's about. And that's me with working with busy mums. Like, they know I'm a busy mum and I say it as it is, and there's no frills about it. It's just me. And I'm just going to teach people the basics of how to set up a podcast. And it's as simple as you can make it. People think that you've got to put all this tech, but you only need your microphone and your laptop and your software, but you can download all that, and you can literally set up this in 24 hours. And once you've set it up, it's just getting around recording, getting your music and putting it into the system, and then your journey becomes your journey from then. And I'm still learning so much now from other podcasters, from just looking online, doing online little free courses. I'm always trying to make things better, but I don't want to make things complicated. And when you're setting up a new business, say if you wanted to come and set up a podcast, and you're thinking, I've got a business, you might have a really successful business, and actually you could use it as a bit of a magnet for your, lead magnet for your business, to get more listeners in, to listen to what you're talking about. Because it's all right having a business and you've got it on Facebook and you've got it on your pages, but then they just see you, or they don't even see a picture sometimes, and I like to see a picture of that person. But if you can know a little bit about the business and what they do and the personality, it's that like and trust factor. So me having a podcast, people would know me before they come and work with me, and then they make that decision that actually she's all right, this girl, like, she knows her stuff. I'm going to go and work with her. She's going to help me have a lunch, a podcast. I'm going to help you create a book. If you're local to Preston, you can come and have Hair and Beauty. But I know I've got listeners all over the world, so I know my business, like, I mainly talk about my podcasting and my life and my fitness and what I do every day, because it's generic then. Like, it can reach so many people, and it's what you're living every day. So when you're setting up a new business, I always feel like you just need to have a little bit of a plan. You need to write everything down, and this is what I did. I did a little bit of a strategy. Well, I've got my qualifications, and you don't need qualifications, by the way, but you don't need qualifications, but it makes it easier when you know a bit about something that you're going to be talking about, which is mine's covering the fitness, life coaching and strategy planning and manifesting. That's what I'm about. That's what I do to function, to make my business grow, to make my business last. I've been in my business for over 20 years and I've never had hiccups in my business because I'm a planner. I'm not a real big risk taker. I like to stay in my own lane, follow my own path and see the results that way. I like to grow organically. I don't like to push things too much. And if I do something and it feels icky, then it's not right for your business. So you need to think about what you're going to be doing. Are you going to be niching into something different? Do you have a niche now? You could be a lawyer, you could be a solicitor, you could be a dog groomer. You can absolutely take a podcast anywhere. You can talk about different things because you're gonna get your clients that are going to be listening. You're gonna get new listeners that are going to be listening, and then obviously there could be more about your business. You might have merchandise to sell, so people might be looking for things. Like I listen to podcasts on UFOs because I love stuff like that, like afterlife stuff. I listen to things that are not even anything that I'm doing every day because that is what I like. It's my guilty pleasure of podcasts. But I listen to different things all the time. So people do things for hobbies. It might be a hobby turning into a business. You don't know how your podcast is gonna take off. It might be completely just blow up, and then there's so many things you can do within your podcast. You can divert it, you can change it any time, and it's all right if you wanted to change things. You might change your mind and think that's not right, but I do say to people that if you're going to be picking something, really have a plan of what you're going to be doing, because if you're going to run out of content really quick, then that's telling you that it's not in your soul to do it. So think about what you can talk about. Have you got a business already where you've got plans, you've got courses, and there's your content there already? You might have Facebook groups, memberships. You could take your memberships onto a podcast, so you've already got an audience, and especially if you've got a really big audience, then you can tell people what you're up to. Like, you can put all your episodes, you can promote them in your groups, on your pages. You can go on LinkedIn, you can go on Twitter, you can go on Lemonade, you can go on Instagram. I'm starting to go on TikTok. You can create events, you can create extra courses. I have a Patreon, I've got a membership where I do mainly daily, sometimes 2 to 3 days daily audio, where I do self-development. I've just started a new book, doing like daily rituals. So it's nothing too heavy, but you'll listen to me most days, and I will drop some extra podcasts in there, and that's just a small fee extra month. But that's what you can do. If you've got a business and you want to create something for people, you could have challenges on, but you can create this within a membership type thing. And the good thing about with my Patreons is it's just an app on your phone, and they get alerts straight away, and everything's in an extra audio, so you wouldn't hear it on my main platform. It would be in the Patreons. So I like to put pictures of my meals on there, and all different things that I put in the podcast, because it's what I'm doing behind the scenes. So it's nice because people want to know a little bit about you, what you're doing, and you have your listeners, you have your tribe, and that's what it's all about. We all have people that I follow more, and I might be in memberships, and because we enjoy that community, we enjoy what we're doing, and that's what, having a business, it's about community building, tribe building, and you've got your niche, and just have a little bit of planning behind it. Like when you're doing your podcast, plan. I mean, I like to have my guests coming on, but I also like to do things every week, because I like for you to see my journey, what I've been up to, because that's me, because I don't really want to plan things too far ahead, because life changes might happen in my life, and I want to keep people up to date with what I'm doing, because they're knowing me, and because that's what I put out on social media things. So you wouldn't want to be listening to this and then I'm putting something completely different on social media. But if you are new listening and you're just catching up, things might have changed from like last year. I've got over 90, I'm coming up to nearly 100 episodes in just over a year. So my life has changed, but not dramatically, but like things will change. We've got the seasons will change. My business might have changed. My podcasting business is elevated. I've got 20 books on Amazon now. I didn't have that when I started. So things have changed, but that shows that I'm progressing, I'm evolving, I'm learning, and that just helps other people that are looking at like the podcast as well. I talk about health and wellness, but I also want to talk about business as well. how to maintain a business around health and wellness and having a child with additional needs. So if you are thinking about, setting up a business or a podcast, give me a shout. I do one-to-one calls. But another thing that we spoke about on the mastermind was my monkeys. So like this was a big thing for me, like launching a podcast, then putting it out there, then you're like, you don't know who's going to be listening to your podcast. You might have ex-boyfriends and ex-colleagues and ex-managers, and you know what I'm saying. And sometimes it shows a vulnerable side to us, and we do worry about what people think, but you have to overcome that. And I suppose it's like for celebrities, they get so much harassment and stick, and it's pretty scary when you read some of the comments. And you've got to be kind to people, because we're all just living and surviving, and we just want to put ourselves out there and make a better lives for our families and children. And because we're living in this online world now, we have to work online. I didn't start my business online, but everything's online. So I've evolved, I've adapted, pivoted my business, but I'm always changing. I'm always up leveling. I'm keeping up with the times. I'm trying to do everything I can. I do networking, I do collabing, and it's collabing with people that you trust. So the lovely Lisa Williams, absolutely. I've never met her in person, but in lockdown we met online, and she lives in Caerphilly in Wales, and she's an amazing soul. She's just like me, and we are so aligned to each other, and 100% trust Lisa. So her podcast is called Raw&Real. Go and find her. She's amazing, and she interviews women who want to talk about maybe taboo subjects, and she just life events. Just go and listen to Lisa. She's fabulous, and she's got a gorgeous voice as well. I just love her little voice. And we absolutely smashed the masterclass. We loved it. Our energy was on fire. Even though I was ill, I was like, yes, let's do this. And because we and Lisa we would rather give than receive, and we love to help women. Well, because we work with a lot of women, like launch these podcasts and launch these businesses, and it's like being a new mum and seeing people birth something new. Like anybody you help, like when I used to help people on the fitness journey, it's seeing that progression. It's amazing to see someone's confidence might be really down, they might be in pain. To see somebody flourish is an amazing feeling. And to see somebody, well, there's loads of women now this week, and we're in a private messenger, and they're already ready to go. They've got the podcast ready to go, and I can't wait for a new podcast to listen to. But what that's going to open for them is some of these women have got amazing businesses already with merchandise. They've got TikToks, they've got platforms to push themselves onto. So this is just an extension of the business, but they're putting themselves out there. So it is vulnerable for them. They've got children, and you've got businesses. You do have to be, and the thing that we talk about on the mastermind, you do have to think about what you say on the podcast, because once it's out there, you can never take it back. So you have to think about how you're going to deliver a podcast, and how you're going to be swearing. I don't particularly swear on my podcast because I offer a lot of health and wellness advice. So it doesn't feel aligned for me to swear. I'm not big on swearing anyway. But I do the odd cuss words like we all do, but I don't particularly swear at my mum or anything like that. But that's just the way I've been raised to be. So I think it doesn't matter. I don't care if people swear. I listen to lots of people that swear on podcasts. Like, I'm not anti-swearing at all. But when you're delivering certain things, your podcast could be on something completely different. So just think about, if you are launching a podcast, like, don't worry about the tech things. And like a lot of the women worry about the tech, and it's going to cost thousands, and it absolutely doesn't. We charge £33 for the mastermind. We've still got people that are joining, so you can catch it up on replay, because it doesn't have to cost thousands. They've done the masterclass, and they're launching podcasts already. We've told them what they need, like the microphones and the software, and we've delivered it together as a collective to show what we do and what works for us in kind of like layman's terms. We don't want all this technical jargon, because that's not us busy mums about. We don't want to listen to all that. I just want somebody to tell me A to Z, like what you do. And we've created this little workbook, which is going out on Friday. So it's a little bit of an extension on. It's a little free workbook to the step-by-steps, because we have got different people that do masterclasses, and you might be a visual, auditory, you might have dyslexia. There's so many things that when you are doing things, it can be a big scary thing, because your read and writing skills might not be that good. You might have visual impairments, and disabilities. So, but we're there to support you with that, because that's what we're about, inclusivity and diversity. And we want to help everybody create a podcast. And creating a podcast as well, you think it's for these like really super professional people, but it's not. You can create your journey. This is your private thing. This is your time to talk. You can do it I've done it in like my pajamas before, no makeup. I'm dressed today, I've got my makeup on. I'm going to have my hair, my nails and eyelashes done after, and I feel so much better. And it's what you feel. But I always say to people, bring a bit of energy. I don't know what it is, but every time I record a podcast, I always spray some like perfume. I don't know why, because you can't like smell it, but I do. I feel like I can smell it. And then what I say to people is like, get some music on, like a bit of garage or a bit of classical music, whatever you're into. Just get that energy. So if you're feeling like you've done the school run, you've come back, your head's been pecked, and then you're like, oh, my energy's low. So what I do, pop a bit of music on, or I'll put a podcast on the way home from school, get my energy up, and I'll do a bit of like checking in my accountability groups with people. I've done my accountability membership this morning. I've dropped an audio in there. It's my last session today. So we've done getting rid of mental clutter. So you can go back into the back catalogue. I've probably got over 100 audios and maybe more in there. But I'm starting a new one this weekend. So it'll be starting again recording, and you can just catch up whenever you want. You don't have to catch up daily. You can do it all in one. But it is good to do daily things, because we absorb and we look at how we can plan these things. So I talk about journaling, how we can do breath work, how we can just approach things in a really positive way without overreacting, how we can start saying no, all the general stuff that comes with self-development. You know, how we don't let other people get in our way, how we can walk away from situations. And that's what life's about, is not reacting. I used to be a bit of a reactor. I used to be the person that says too much, because I'm very passionate about what I believe in, and I will just say things as it is. But as you get older, you do grow to think about before things, because things aren't black and white. And yeah, you just learn as you get older. I'm 41 on Monday. Can you believe it? I can't believe, like, remember having my 40th, and now I'm coming up to 41. So, but yeah, so thinking about podcasting, you know, there's so many things you can do. Like, I sell my books now through my podcast. I've also got my life coaching business, where I do one-to-one calls over Zoom, strategy, fitness planning. So there's so many things that I can do for people and help people, which are on my website, that whatever you've got in business, you can start promoting through your podcast. You can talk. You can just do it for a hobby. You don't need to do it as a business. Just do a little hobby. You might want to talk about knitting, anything, baking. You could do something, and you don't know where it's going to go. You might just want to get things off your chest. You might be really passionate. You might have a bit of trauma that you want to talk about and help other people. You might not be going in it. You don't go in for it for financial. So, you know, people think, I'm just going to go make loads of money. Like, you can't go in with that mindset. You've got to let things naturally take its course, let it be organic, and just enjoy it and have fun with it. And you become more of authority in your field, because you are putting yourself out there, and you are giving more free information each week. And you want to talk about more things that you've got going on in your business on a podcast, which you don't always do online, because you don't want to like completely like block your feed up on your Facebook and all your socials. So I'm in a podcast, I'm talking now, and we can talk about all different things. Like, I love having guests on and getting to know different people and listening to their stories. And don't worry about we always have imposter syndrome and worry about, I can't do this, I'm not clever enough, I'm not literate enough. You become better at speaking, you become better at your body language and your breath work. It's just practice. Like, the great thing about here is you're not speaking to anyone directly, so it's a really good place to hide behind. If you're not a confident person, you might be confident in talking, but not in a group setting. So this is great, because you can put it anywhere, this. So don't let them fears overtake you when you're thinking about setting up a business, especially like with podcasting, because it's all audio. I've started putting a lot of mine on YouTube now, so I'm going to start growing my YouTube channel. I will start doing more videos on there, and I've had some views on there, but I'm not particularly banking on getting all these viewers. But it's nice that eventually I'll probably put some more recorded. When I record people for the podcast, I'm going to start using some of the videos. So it's just nice for that little bit of extra. But only do what feels right to you. Don't go overthinking it too much. So have a little bit of a book, have a bit of a plan, get some content. You can batch, Lisa batch records guests. I do weekly, maybe do one or two guests, but I do weekly recordings. I like to do it as I'm feeling. I like to work on my energy, how I'm working. So yeah, and look out when you are looking at doing a podcast, working yourself in networking groups, like I'm with Buzzsprout, so we've got a massive brilliant community. There's troubleshooting questions in there, people are always looking for guests, you can ask for feedback. I'm in podcast groups, I'm always asking to be guests, so just feel what's aligned to you, and also be careful of people asking, I never ask my guests, I never ask for money, so just be very careful, because I have heard about a lot of people being ask for money. So your energy's got to feel right depending what your finances are. So don't be getting ripped off, or look at the people that are around you. The people that are in your tribe are usually the ones that you want on your podcast. You've probably already got an audience of a group of people that you think, I'd love to, and that you work with in your job, and you could go and approach them and send messages on Instagram and send emails and just offer things back if you want to feel that energy, exchange. So just be careful about it all. Just be very safe when you're setting up things. But once you get going, like you just find your way a bit, and you get excited, and you have your ups and downs, but you just enjoy it. That's what I say. Don't overthink it too much. You'll never please everybody. Not everyone will like you, and I've learned that. And your friends aren't always your listeners. And your family aren't your listener. My husband don't listen to my podcast. I could be actually saying anything about it, but he does not have a clue. I think he's listened to one. It was Tony when he was on my podcast, Tony James. But only because it was a male, and another guy that was on my podcast, Stephen, and then Stephen R. And that was it. He doesn't like, he said, all you women are just yakking about women's stuff and periods and we don't really talk about stuff like that. We just talk about life and what we're up to, because it's nice to see what other people are up to, because it's normality, it's normalising things without it being taboo. So yeah, that's me today. I'm going to go because my voice is I think it's going a little bit, and I've got to conserve my voice for being interviewed. But yeah, if you want to join my Patreons, it is in the link below. It will be in the show notes, because I'm starting a new book, but it's just daily rituals. It's nothing heavy. I'm just going to be talking about different things that we can work on every day to improve ourselves, and you can join and cancel anytime you want. So there's nothing, no hidden clause in there. You just got to come and see it out, see what you feel. We all join things and cancel things. That's just life, isn't it? I'm not about pressuring people. And if you've not seen my books, I've got my books on Amazon, and I'm still working on my big books. I'm not going to create any little books for a while. I need to finish this book, and then I'll start doing some other books. So I have got loads of different books that can help you with daily time blocking and journaling, and a manifesting book that I created last, and I absolutely love. Every day I've been writing in it, I love it. So my manifesting goals, one of my manifesting goals for today is to get well, to get better, is to do my interview with Cheryl, and just keep my vibrations high when I'm feeling not 100%. And that's what you've got to do. When you've got a toolbox and a positive mindset. Me being ill, people are like, how are you working? I'm like, I'm absolutely fine. I've got to plough forward. I've got things to do, and being off, I feel worse, so I like to start moving, getting my chest moving and working and getting a bit of fresh air as well. So I have reduced a little bit of workload this week, but I'm still working. But I'm going to go now, so have a great weekend, and I'll be 41 next time you speak to me. So yeah, I'm heading upwards now. I don't feel like I look 41, but I just can't believe it that it's going to be 41. But it's nice, it's fell on bank holiday Monday, so I'm super excited. I've not really got much planned, to be fair. I've just got my mum and dad coming round Sunday. We're just going to have takeaway, we're going to watch some films. If it's nice, we'll sit in the garden, and yeah, I'm going out for friends, just for some lunches and things like that. I'm quite happy with just being with family and friends. I think, like, I don't really go out anymore drinking. I know it sounds boring, but I probably need to go out and have a right good night out. But at the minute, I'm happy what I'm doing. I don't need to change it for anybody, and that's just what I'm just going to leave you with today. Just be yourself, keep being you, and just remember everything you're doing, and pat yourself on the back. And if you are thinking about launching a podcast, come and speak to me, and me and Lisa can help you if you want to join our masterclass. So you can catch it up on replay. which most people are doing anyway now because we don't have a lot of time, do we? So it is nice to catch it up and replay videos sometimes because we can write things down and remember because we forget things. So anyway, I'm going to stop waffling now and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Before you go, if you'd love to become a Patreon and support the show and offer your input, you can do so with the link provided in the show notes. Or are you ready to become more accountable by joining my Busy Mums Book Club and Accountability Patreon's community? We will continue to work deeper into our self-development, health and fitness, and take accountability for our own personal growth. Are you ready to become a better version of yourself?